All right, here we are, Coach Alex and Coach Bryce, back with another episode on Coach's Corner, Ignite Fitness podcast. Welcome, guys. Welcome, Coach Bryce. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be back.
Cool. Right on, guys. Well, let's get into this today, man. Today's an interesting topic. We're doing a little bit different, right? We're going to talk about growth mindset. All right. This is a really great podcast to listen to, guys. This is not only to help you out with your fitness and performance levels, but also with your life, with professional development, personal development, relationships, all of that stuff. All right. So I'm excited about this topic. Really cool stuff. I love psychology, stuff like that, how the mind works, scientific proven strategies, the neural pathways that we can actually explore and change. So let's talk about the description here. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. It is a powerful tool for personal and professional development. In this episode, we're going to explore the psychology behind growth and fixed mindsets, proven strategies to cultivate a growth mindset, and the impact of mindset on learning, resilience, and success. How also we're going to learn how to apply a growth mindset in training, work, and life. All right. So let's dive in. Welcome back to the podcast, guys. This is a powerful topic. It's something that can transform the way you approach challenges, learning, and success. Growth mindset.
Yeah, the term growth mindset was actually first coined by psychologist Carol Dweck, and it's one of the most significant discoveries in educational and performance psychology. At its core, a growth mindset means believing that your abilities and intelligence can improve through effort, learning, and persistence. That's kind of the rundown on the term, the growth mindset there.
Cool. Thanks, Bryce. And yeah, on the flip side, a fixed mindset is the belief that your abilities are static, right? Like something you're born with and you can't change. You can't outwork talent, right? I don't believe that. You can't outwork talent. That's kind of where this is going with the growth mindset, right? This kind of thinking leads to avoidance of challenges, fear of failure, and ultimately stagnation, right? In a personal and professional growth. Professional athletes, musicians, doesn't matter what, like people that you see, most of them that you see are ultra successful in life, or whatever your measure of success would be, is people that are willing to continue to push and push and push and grow and learn and accept failure and continue going, right? So this is a powerful tool that we're going to kind of dive into. If you necessarily have a fixed, stagnant mindset, nothing wrong with that. It can change. That's what growth mindset is about change. All right. So let's kind of dive in a little further.
Absolutely. You either have one or the other, right? You have a fixed one or a growth mindset. So today we're breaking down the science between these two, and then how to shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, and how applying this can level up your life, whether it's in the gym working out or at your job or in relationships in your life.
Roger that, man. Yeah. All right. So let's start with the psychology behind growth and fixed mindset. Let's start there and kind of see where we can go. We're going to explain the science behind these two mindsets and how they shape behaviors. I'll let you kick it off, Bryce.
Yeah, so starting with the psychology, you got to start with the brain, right? So when you look at neuroplasticity, that's the brain's ability to rewire and form new connections. And it proves that intelligence and skills aren't fixed. It's just a sign that you can adapt to it. So your brain can literally change based on things you experience and learn.
Right. I mean, that's why effort and persistence matter, right? I mean, studies show that people who believe that their abilities can actually improve, they do improve. So because they engage in more effortful learning and recover from setbacks faster. So if you believe that you will actually improve, then you do actually improve. What a concept, right? But if you go into it like, I don't know why I'm doing this, I'm not going to get any better at it, you have that negative static mindset, then oftentimes you don't, right? But if you just actually believe in yourself, you will improve, right? So that's amazing. A study published in Psychological Science found that students who believed intelligence could be developed had a higher academic performance compared to those who thought intelligence was static, right? So
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great example using students, right? But it applies beyond academics too. So we have athletes, entrepreneurs, And even artists who adopt a growth mindset perform better, persist longer, and take on bigger challenges.
Right.
So now let's kind of get into how we recognize which one we have, because you either have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. So some of the key differences between the two, if you start off looking at fixed mindsets, one thing you'll hear people say is, I'm just not good at this, or something along the lines of, I can't do this,
Right.
not thinking that they're able to improve and thinking they're just kind of set in this specific way of thinking that they're at right now. So if you hear, I'm just not good at this, they usually also likely avoid challenges, give up easily, and view effort as pointless while ignoring feedback to improve or any sort of constructive criticism.
Right.
That's kind of how we recognize a fixed mindset and some things that go along with that. If
we can all get there. We can all get there. We've all had places. It's if you live in that self-doubt, right? If you're constantly like that, that's
right.
where lack of growth. So
yeah, I think it's easier to fall into it than you think too, right? You can kind of snowball into it. But if we look on the other side of that, with growth mindsets, you'll often have people that can, often think or say, I can get better with practice, or I can improve at this. So if they're thinking along those lines, they're seeking challenges to grow and better themselves. They're persistent despite setbacks. They view effort as the key to mastery, and they are open to feedback and constructive criticism, and they use it to improve. So that's kind of how we recognize the difference between if you're somebody with a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And those are some of the key differences between those.
Nice, man. So if any of those, that's so point on, right? So it's just like a simple word practice, right? Our inner dialogue, our inner monologue that we speak to ourselves, like changing up little words is super effective. So if any of these like fixed mindset thoughts sound familiar, don't worry, you're not stuck that way. You can literally train your brain to embrace a growth mindset. All right. So we're going to talk about how to develop a growth mindset. All right. Like how do we do that? So I don't know, Bryce, like what's one of the ways that we can do that, like to start to develop this growth mindset rather than stay in that stuck, static, fixed mindset?
Yeah. So if we start looking at some real strategies to help you develop them, the first thing we're looking at is embracing challenges instead of avoiding them. So anytime that you're taking on a challenge, you're basically forcing yourself to learn, adapt, and improve. And anytime you're going to want to chase something or accomplish something, you're going to put yourself in a much better mindset, much more towards the growth mindset to accomplish that.
Yeah, 100%, man. For example, instead of saying like, oh, I'm terrible at public speaking, like a growth mindset says like, hey, man, I'm just not great at it yet. I can improve by practicing, like, I don't know, you imagine everybody's in their underwear or whatever out in the auditorium, but like that small shift, right? Of just like, hey, man, I'm not great at it yet, but I can improve by practicing. That small shift in thinking makes a huge difference over time, right?
Absolutely. Another method to develop a growth mindset here is by learning from your failure. So it's kind of cliche to say, but every failure leads to you bettering yourself, right? It's just a data point that helps you refine your approach, gives you feedback. The best athletes and entrepreneurs in the world have failed more times than others have often tried.
Right. Yeah, 100%, dude. Like, yeah, it's crazy, right? How that works. Who was it? Who was it? Like, oh, yeah, it was Michael Jordan, right? He famously said, I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. The mindset applies to everything: fitness, business, relationships, right? Michael Jordan, one of the best basketball players of all time. What's another game changer is, the power of yet. You've heard us say that a couple times. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I can't do this yet. That one word rewires your brain to see growth as possible. So yet is a very powerful word, right? That we can kind of throw in there. I don't know. Let's talk about the impact of mindset on learning and resilience. Let's talk about that. So what's the impact that we get from this,
Yeah, one thing we've got here is that people with a growth mindset actually recover faster from setbacks. So they view failure as temporary and not permanent. And that's kind of the key principle behind the term resilience.
Right. Yeah, that it's not permanent, right? So it's just temporary. This is huge in fitness, right? If someone hits a plateau in training, a fixed mindset would say, I'm just not built for this. A growth mindset says, I need to tweak my approach, adjust my training and keep going. I'm going to adjust my macros. I'm going to adjust my nutrition. I'm going to, I'm going to adjust my progressive overload that we talked about the other day. I'm going to tweak it. Right. That's the approach, to just keep going, keep building, keep growing. Right. So it's huge, right, in fitness. But it's not just fitness that this applies to. You could do it in work, relationships, in your life. The more resilient you are, the more successful you're going to be. I promise you. Those that just aren't willing to give up or quit trying are going to be way more successful, because oftentimes it's not, the 100th time of failure. It's the 101st time that we get it right. Right. So just one more time, just one more rep, just one more time. Right. Say that all the time. So let's go to like some questions that we get from some of our listeners. Right. There's two questions, pretty ones that we picked out that our active listeners submitted. So here's the first one: is how can I teach my kids to have a growth mindset? What do you think, Bryce?
Yeah, you want to praise their effort, not talent. So it's the same concept as being process oriented versus results oriented, right? So in this situation, instead of saying you're so smart, say you worked really hard on that, or something that acknowledges their process that got them to the outcome. And this reinforces the idea that the success comes from the effort, not just the talent. So I think that's kind of how you answer that. To ask you one here, Alex, we also have, I feel stuck in my career. How can I use a growth mindset to advance?
Ooh, yeah, start by reframing setbacks as learning opportunities, right? So like every setback is a learning opportunity. Seeking out mentorship, taking on new challenges, and actively learn new skills. Like every obstacle that we have in life is an opportunity to grow. I think, what was it like? I can't remember that. It was Thomas Edison, right? I didn't learn 1,000 ways to not I didn't fail at 1,000 times creating the light bulb. I learned 1,000 times how not to create the light bulb, or something like to that nature. I could be butchering that quote, but that's the whole point, right? So every obstacle is an opportunity to grow and learn, right? So if you look at things like you're going to learn new skills, new challenges, don't look at failure as the end, more as a learning opportunity, right? So yeah, man, good job. I think we kind of nailed it, the growth mindset and what that is. Again, let's not overcomplicate it, but like, let's kind of recap as to what we've kind of gone over. A growth mindset isn't just about believing that you can improve. It's about taking action to make it happen, right? So like, what are the key takeaways we got today, Bryce?
Yeah, from what we've discussed so far, we've got a few things here. The first is that your brain is changeable. You're not stuck. So you can alter the way that you think, and you're able to shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Viewing failure as data and not defeat can be huge too. It adds to your resilience, and it adds to your desire to take on more challenges. If you praise effort over talent to build resilience, you'll also be in a good spot. And then the word "yet" is powerful. You'll always make progress if you think that you still have room to go and you're not stuck or done yet.
Nice. Wonderful stuff. Thanks, Coach Bryce. Right on. So guys, we challenge you this week to identify one of those fixed mindset that you've had and reframe it using the strategies that we talked about today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Our next topic is going to be on nutrient timing and performance, right? So you can always check us out in the Ignite Fitness app. Check us out in the iOS, the Apple iOS, or the Google Play Store. It is called Phoenix Rising Ignite Fitness app. And you can always check us out on our free school, right? We have a free public school platform for everyone to join up, be a part of, discuss different stuff like this with different coaches, different individuals all around the world that enjoy fitness. Coach Bryce, where can we find you at personally? People want to get a hold of you.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Bryce, BRYCE.wellness. And on there, you can check out some of my other links where there's other information about training with me. And then you can check out some of my philosophies on there as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bryce. And then references I wanted to reference today would be, we used a couple references in here, was Dweck, 2006, Mindset, the New Psychology of Success. We also used a reference from Blackwell, I can't say that name, Trzynski. I apologize there, Mr. Trzynski. And Dweck, 2007, Implicit Theories of Intelligence Predict Achievement. All right. So some actual references there that we use. So thanks again, guys. We look forward to seeing you next week. And thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you.